let me know if this sounds familiar. You meditate, you journal, you understand your triggers, but still feel a little bit anxious, still struggle with that anxious energy, anxiety. Because I teach women how to resolve anxiety at the root, not just manage it or cope with it or deal with it. And here's what I've noticed, okay? You think you should be past this by now. Okay, you've done the healing, you've done the work, you've done the mindset work, the personal development, you've done everything that the gurus say you should do, but you still struggle with it, okay? And that judgment, that shame, okay, is actually just making it worse, okay? And it comes down to these two things, okay? Awareness isn't the same as resolution, okay? How often do you know something? You can teach something, you can teach your kids something, but you haven't resolved it, okay? There's a difference. And a lot of spiritual people, they're good at the awareness stuff, but not so much the resolution, healing it from the root, okay? And that's mainly because spiritual people are so fucking good at bypassing. Like, guilty of this. Who else is guilty of bypassing, okay? We're good at the reframing, okay? And these are just ways that we bypass this anxious energy that is stored in our body, okay? We do the reframing. How good are you at changing your mind? Like, okay, let's think a different thought. Let's reframe that thought, okay? Finding meaning. We're constantly searching as spiritual people. What is the meaning behind that? What does this feeling or belief or emotion means? Or practicing gratitude. Now, gratitude is great, so many benefits. However, are you bypassing what's in the body? Are you bypassing what's actually coming up for resolution, coming up to be healed and released by practicing gratitude? Okay, and so often in the spiritual community is just practice gratitude. It's the greatest way, or it's the quickest way to raise your vibration. I'm guilty of, and it's true, you can't think an anxious thought and be grateful at the same time. So clearly it's easier to choose to think gratitude. Like if I'm feeling gratitude, I'm not going to feel anxious. Like, hello. But what it's doing is it's a band-aid. It's a band-aid. Eventually, that good feeling is not going to maintain. You're going to feel anxious again, okay? Or another pet hate in the spiritual community is staying high vibe. Your frequency and energy is the best. Be as high vibe as possible. And that places this unconscious belief that we can't feel anxious. We can't have anxiety because that's not high vibe. And then in the manifestation, what am I going to manifest? Oh my God, I'm going to manifest all the wrong things. Okay, and that's why so many spiritual women still struggle with anxiety because they don't focus on the resolution, they don't focus on the root cause. However, they're focusing on bypassing it or just stuck in the awareness, okay? And I've helped so many women who have spent years in therapy. They understand everything intellectually. I've even had people come to me that have studied NLP and all these modalities, and they're still feeling hijacked, okay? However, when we've addressed the root, everything shifted. And even after one session, they're messaging me saying, oh my God, it's just disappeared. And their whole life, like they're free. Their family gets them back again. Okay. And again, I've had clients from the healing space, healing for years with all these modalities, and come to me frustrated, like, I should be past this. This should be not me anymore because I've done the healing. I'm X, Y, and Z practitioner. But yet, why do I still feel anxious? Why is the anxiety still coming up for me? Okay. And this is a big part of my story. You know, I'm trained in probably 90% of all the modalities out there. I've spent over 10 years in the healing space and healing myself. And I still had to acknowledge that I'm that my anxiety that was crippling me. I was struggling so much with anxiety, and it was because I had the awareness. I understood what anxiety meant. I understood the anxious energy, but I was very much in the spiritual place of bypassing it unconsciously. Okay. So if this resonated in any way, I created a free workshop where I break this down fully, why spiritually aware women stay stuck in anxiety and what actually creates that permanent relief. Okay, so I'll link that workshop down in the description for you to join up. Okay, and make sure that you watch my EFT releasing anxiety meditation to calm the mind down, to release the anxiety and get into a place of calm without bypassing, because we are doing on a, as we know now, anxiety is more on the physiology state, and that is what this EFT meditation is to do. So I'll see you in that video, and I'll see you in the workshop. Bye for now.